Shirley's life falls apart when she sees her husband, Brody, with another woman at work. After he threatens to divorce her and take it all, Shirley finds herself homeless and heartbroken. But then, someone comes into your life and changes everything. I'm Shirley, and my life was turned upside down in the blink of an eye. On that fateful day, I went to my husband's office with Brody, bringing a cake to celebrate our wedding anniversary. What I found there shattered all my illusions. As soon as I walked in, I saw Brody laughing and flirting with Lila, his secretary. They were so engrossed in each other that they didn't even notice my presence. My hands trembled, and I accidentally dropped the spoons I was carrying. That scene broke my heart. "Brody, what's going on here?" I asked, trying to stay calm. He looked at me, feigning innocence. "Shirley, we're just discussing work." "Work? With your hands in her skirt?" My voice was full of anger. "Don't make a scene," he warned me, but I couldn't keep quiet any longer. "We need to talk. In particular. Now," I demanded, my voice steady. Brody snorted, his anger evident. "I'm going to ask for a divorce today, and I'm going to keep the house." "You can't take my house. It belonged to my parents." He smiled, cruel. "I'm a lawyer, Shirley. I'll keep everything, and I'm going to bring Lila here. We will celebrate on every surface in every room." Shocked, I could barely answer as he pushed the wedding ring on the cake I brought. Alone, I ended up in a cheap hotel, crying myself to sleep. My mind couldn't stop spinning with the broken memories and promises. As I punched the pillow, I heard a knock on the door. I expected to find a hotel employee, but I came across a strange, worried man. I thought I heard a call for help," he stammered. "You heard it wrong. Unless you can help me keep my house away from my husband, go away," I replied, my voice breaking. He raised his eyebrows and said something that hurt me deeply. "Now I can see why he's divorcing you." Fueled by anger, I followed the man to his room, determined not to let his comment go unpunished. And so began what I thought was another battle in a sea of misfortune, but which would become the beginning of an unexpected turn in my life. Still seething with rage, I followed the man to his room, banging on the door hard. "What did you mean by that?" I demanded, blocking the door so he wouldn't close it. He sighed, tired. I thought you needed to hear the truth. You don't know anything about me," I retorted, my voice full of emotion. I was betrayed, humiliated, and now I'm about to lose everything I love. He looked at me, his eyes softening. "Sorry, I shouldn't have judged you like that. My name is Nathan." "Shirley," I replied, still defensive. Nathan took a step back, allowing me to enter. "Can I at least offer a coffee?" Reluctantly, I accepted. Sitting in the creaking old chair, I watched as he brewed coffee. "So, you're a lawyer too?" "Yes," he said, handing me a cup. "But I'm not like your husband." "How can you be so sure?" I asked, sarcastic. Nathan sat across from me, his eyes steady. "Because I've already been in your shoes. My wife cheated on me, and I lost everything. I know what you're going through." His words hit me like a punch. For the first time, I felt a hint of empathy in the midst of the whirlwind of emotions. "I'm sorry about that." Nathan smiled sadly. "It's life, isn't it? But we learn to survive." As we sipped coffee, Nathan told me his story. He had been a brilliant lawyer, married to the woman he thought was the love of his life. But after the betrayal, he saw his world fall apart, just like I do now. "But you got back on your feet," I remarked, trying to find a thread of hope. "Yes, and so will you. Believe me." At that moment, something changed inside me. For the first time, I felt that I was not alone in my pain. And maybe, just maybe, there was a way out for me as well. The following days were a roller coaster of emotions. I found myself torn between the pain of the past and the newfound hope that Nathan had planted in my heart. Returning to the office, my hesitant steps reflected the uncertainty that still haunted me. To my surprise, Nathan was waiting for me at my desk with a gentle smile. "Good morning, Shirley. We need to talk about the Richardson case." His professional but warm attitude gave me unexpected relief. We sat down together to discuss the details of the case. and for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was doing something meaningful. As we worked, Nathan revealed more about himself. After the divorce, I threw myself into work. I thought it would help me forget. But what really made the difference was finding people who believed in me. His words echoed in my mind. I used to believe in Brody, I admitted. I thought he was everything to me. Nathan looked at me, his eyes full of compassion. You're stronger than you think, Shirley, and you don't have to face it alone. It was then that Brody and Lila walked into the office, laughing and flirting shamelessly. My heart tightened, but before I could react, Nathan stood up, his presence domineering. Brody, we need to talk. Brody laughed, dismissively. I have nothing to say to you, Williams. Nathan didn't back down. Then listen. Shirley is an amazing person, and you missed out on a rare gem. And I won't allow you to humiliate her anymore. Brody turned pale, surprised by Nathan's steadfastness. Lila tried to intervene, but Nathan cut her off with a look. That's between us. Nathan's strength gave me courage. For the first time, I felt like I had someone on my side, someone who really cared. The battle was far from over, but I knew that with Nathan by my side, I could face anything. At the end of the day, as we were leaving the office, Nathan grabbed me by the arm. You're not alone, Shirley. Let's get through this together. And with those words, the seed of hope began to blossom again in my heart. The next day, I went to work with a mixture of nervousness and hope. Nathan's confession the night before had left me agitated, but also filled with renewed energy. Upon entering the office, I noticed curious looks from some colleagues. Gossip about Nathan's confrontation with Brody had spread. Nathan greeted me with a comforting smile. Good morning, Shirley. Ready for the day? I agreed, trying to hide my anxiety. Yes, let's go. We spent the morning reviewing the Richardson case. With each moment, I felt Nathan's trust in me grow. He would ask challenging questions, forcing me to think critically and find creative solutions. I was beginning to regain the trust that Brody had destroyed. In the middle of the day, while we were reviewing a contract, Brody abruptly entered the room. His expression was one of pure anger. We need to talk, Shirley. Nathan stood up immediately. Anything you have to say, you can say in my presence. Brody gave Nathan a scornful look. This has nothing to do with you, Williams. Shirley, we need to discuss the divorce. I took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. What do you want, Brody? He threw a stack of papers on the table. I want the house and half of our assets, and I want you to stop embarrassing me at work. Nathan picked up the papers, reading them quickly. These terms are absurd. Shirley will not sign this. Brody stepped forward, his voice low and menacing. If you don't cooperate, I'm going to make your life hell. Nathan walked over, standing between me and Brody. That's enough, Brody. If you continue with these threats, we will take this to court. The tension in the room was palpable. Brody looked at me with contempt, but I saw a spark of doubt in his eyes. You're going to regret it, Shirley. He left, slamming the door, leaving a heavy silence behind. Nathan turned to me, his eyes soft. Are you okay? I agreed, but my hands trembled. Yes, thank you, Nathan. I don't know what I would do without you. He held my hand, his expression determined. You are not alone. Let's fight together, Shirley, and we will win. At that moment, I felt an inner strength that I hadn't felt in a long time. With Nathan by my side, I was ready to take on any challenge. And he knew that, despite the difficulties, there was a light at the end of the tunnel. The tension between Brody and me only increased, but with Nathan by my side, I felt a new strength. One evening, after a particularly tiring day at the office, Nathan suggested, let's go out to dinner. You need to relax a bit. I accepted, and we went to a cozy restaurant, away from the prying eyes of the office. The conversation flowed easily, and for a moment, I was able to forget the chaos of my life. Shirley, have you thought about what you want to do from now on? Nathan asked, his gaze filled with genuine concern. I thought for a moment. I always wanted to open my own confectionery, but with Brody, all my dreams were in the background. Nathan smiled. You must follow your dreams, and I'll support you every step of the way. The warmth of his words enveloped me, but before I could answer, my phone rang. It was Brody. I ignored the call, but he texted him right away. "We need to talk. It is urgent." Nathan saw my expression and frowned. "It's Brody, isn't it?" "Agreed. He says it's urgent. I don't know what to do." "You don't need to talk to him right now," Nathan said firmly. "Let's enjoy the night." But my curiosity and concern overcame me. I called back, moving away from the table a little. "What do you want, Brody?" "Shirley, I need to see you now. It's about the house." The mention of the house, the place where I built so many dreams, made my heart race. "What's the house?" "She's been sold," he said bluntly. "Sold? What do you mean, Brody? You couldn't do that." "I had the right," he replied coldly. "We need to discuss the division of the money." I returned to the table, feeling the weight of the news. Nathan stood up, worried. "What happened?" "He sold the house," I whispered, tears threatening to fall. Nathan pulled me into a hug, his presence strong and comforting. "We are going to solve this. He will not get away with it." The next day, I went to Brody's office, determined to face this new twist. I walked into his office without knocking, my anger overflowing. "How could you sell the house, Brody? You didn't have that right?" He looked at me with a cynical smile. "I told you so, Shirley. You didn't want to cooperate. Now pay the price." Before I could answer, Nathan came in behind me. "She's not alone, Brody. We will take this to court." Nathan's confidence strengthened me. I was ready to fight for what was mine, no matter how hard it was. With Nathan by my side, I felt like I could weather any storm. The following days were an emotional roller coaster. Nathan and I were preparing the case against Brody, gathering evidence and testimony. We spent hours in the office, between documents and legal strategies. The closeness to Nathan only grew, but there was a constant tension in the air, a mixture of attraction and uncertainty. One afternoon, after a long planning session, Nathan suggested a break. "Let's go for a walk, Shirley. We need fresh air." We walked to a nearby park, the gentle breeze bringing welcome relief. We sat on a bench, and Nathan broke the silence. "You're holding up well, Shirley, but I know it's not easy." I sighed, looking at the trees around us. "Sometimes I feel like I'm about to fall apart, but when I look at you, I find strength." He held my hand, his eyes reflecting a deep affection. "We are in this together, and we will win." That evening, back at the office, Nathan and I were reviewing the last details of the process when a message popped up on my phone. It belonged to an old friend, Clara. "Shirley, I need to tell you something about Brody." Curious and worried, I called Clara. She revealed that Brody was involved in suspicious, possibly illegal, activities. "He's laundering money through a shell company," she said, her voice low and strained. I hung up the phone, my heart racing. I told Nathan what Clara had said, and he was thoughtful. "If this is true, we can use the information to our advantage in court. We need proof." Over the next few days, Clara helped us collect evidence. We got compromising documents, and Nathan organized everything meticulously. Each piece of the puzzle was falling into place. Finally, the day of judgment arrived. I entered the courtroom with my head held high, with Nathan by my side. Brody was on the other side, his gaze cold and calculating. The judge began the formalities, and Nathan stood up to present our case. "We will prove that Brody not only violated Shirley's rights, but also committed serious financial crimes," he said confidently. "We present the evidence, one by one, each document, each testimony." Brody began to sweat, his confidence visibly diminishing. When Clara testified about Brody's illegal activities, the court was silent, everyone absorbing the gravity of the charges. After days of testimony and arguments, the verdict was finally given. Brody was found guilty of the financial charges and was ordered to return the house and pay considerable compensation. We walked away from the courtroom victorious, the weight finally off my shoulders. Nathan hugged me, and in that moment, I knew our bond was stronger than ever. "This is just the beginning, Shirley," he whispered. "We have a whole life ahead of us." With the legal victory, I felt that I could finally start over. And with Nathan by my side, I knew anything was possible. The victory in court brought immediate relief, but it also marked the beginning of a new phase in my life. With the house reclaimed and Brody out of the way, I began to focus on my forgotten dreams. Nathan, always by my side, encouraged me at every step. "Let's turn this house into a real home," he suggested one day as we stood in the kitchen. And then, who knows, your confectionery. With his support, the house began to transform. We painted the walls, chose new furniture, and, little by little, the space that was once full of painful memories began to be filled with hope and joy. On one of these nights, while we were preparing dinner, Nathan stopped and looked deep into my eyes. "Shirley, I wanted to ask you something." "Yes?" I asked, feeling my heart race. He took my hand, his eyes shining with excitement. "Do you want to open the pastry shop with me? Let's do it together." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Tears of happiness began to flow down my face. "Yes, Nathan, I would love to." In the following days, we began to plan the confectionery. We chose a perfect location in the city center and designed every detail, from the menu to the decoration. Each decision was made with care and affection. But life had more surprises in store for us. One day, while I was at the bakery's site, supervising the renovations, a familiar figure appeared at the door. It was clear. "Shirley, I need to talk to you," she said, her expression serious. I invited her in and offered her a coffee. "What happened, Clara?" She hesitated for a moment, then dropped the bombshell. "I found out something about Brody. He is planning to take revenge. He did not accept defeat in court." Fear enveloped me again. "What do you mean?" "He's trying to find a way to sabotage the confectionery. I've heard rumors that he's spreading lies and trying to damage his reputation." I felt a chill down my spine, but before panic could overwhelm me, Nathan entered the room. "What's going on?" Clara repeated the news to Nathan, and he was thoughtful for a moment. "Let's deal with it together. We're not going to let Brody shake us." With renewed determination, I began to plan a strategy to protect the confectionery and our future. Clara became a valuable ally, helping to unmask Brody's plans and ensure that he couldn't harm us. Every day was a battle, but with Nathan by my side and Clara's help, I was stronger than ever. And so, as preparations for the opening of the bakery continued, I knew I was finally on the right track, ready to take on any challenge life threw at me. The opening day of the confectionery came faster than I expected. Every detail had been carefully planned, and the end result was a warm and charming space, just as I had dreamed of. Nathan and I were beaming with joy and nervousness as we prepared to open the doors for the first time. The first customers began to arrive, and soon the confectionery was full of laughter and lively conversation. The smell of fresh coffee and freshly baked pastries filled the air, creating an irresistible atmosphere. I felt a surge of satisfaction as I saw the happy faces of people enjoying our hard work. Nathan was by my side, helping to serve customers and making sure everything went smoothly. "We are doing very well, Shirley. This place is a success," he said, holding my hand. I smiled, feeling my heart warm. Yes, it's everything I dreamed of and more. However, the shadow of the past still hung over us. In the middle of the afternoon, while I was at the counter serving a customer, I saw Brody walk through the door. My stomach turned, but I kept my composure. He walked over, a cynical smile on his lips. "Congratulations on the confectionery, Shirley, but don't think I'm going to let it go cheap." Nathan noticed the tension and came quickly to me. "What do you want, Brody?" Brody looked at Nathan dismissively. "I just came to give my greetings and a warning. Enjoy it while you can, because this won't last." Before Nathan could answer, I stepped forward. "Brody, you have no power over me. You can try whatever you want, but I'm not going to give up." Brody laughed, but there was a noticeable frustration in his eyes. "We'll see, Shirley. We'll see." With that, he turned and left, leaving a feeling of unease in the air. Nathan put his hand on my shoulder, offering comfort. "Don't let him shake you. We managed to get here, and we will keep fighting." I agreed, determined. "You're right. I'm not going to let him destroy what we've built." In the following days, Brody's threats intensified. He spread malicious rumors about the confectionery and tried to sabotage our suppliers. But with the help of Nathan and Clara, we faced each challenge head-on. The local community, which was already beginning to know and like us, united in our support. Loyal customers showed up, defending the bakery and debunking Brody's lies. Each obstacle only strengthened my resolve. And through it all, the bond between Nathan and me grew stronger, deeper. We knew that, together, we could face any adversity. While the confectionery prospered, I looked to the future with renewed hope. Brody could try to bring us down, but now I had something he could never destroy: the love and strength of a new family and the courage to fight for my dreams. The following days were intense. The confectionery thrived, but Brody's menacing presence still hung over us. Every time I saw a worried expression on Nathan's face, I felt a pang of fear. I knew Brody wouldn't give up easily, and his persistence was starting to affect our relationship and business. One morning, while I was arranging the freshly baked cakes in the window, Clara came running, panting. "Shirley, you need to see this," she said, handing me a newspaper. On the front page, a sensationalist headline accused our confectionery of unethical and unhealthy practices. I felt my heart sink. "Brody did it," I muttered, holding the newspaper tightly. Nathan appeared next to me, reading the headline with evident anger. "He's trying to destroy our reputation," Nathan said, his voice firm. "But we will not let that happen." Clara intervened. "I managed to discover something important. Brody is involved in illegal activities. If we can get proof, we can finally get rid of him." This revelation brought new hope. We decided to act quickly. Clara began to investigate and gather evidence, while Nathan and I focused on keeping the bakery running and the clientele loyal. One night, as Nathan and I were closing the shop, Clara arrived with a triumphant smile. "I did it," she said, showing a USB stick. "Here is the evidence. Brody is finished." We examined the files, which revealed Brody's illegal financial transactions and compromising connections. It was all we needed to bring him to justice. The next day, we turned over the evidence to the authorities. The investigation moved quickly, and Brody was arrested. Finally, his shadow disappeared from our lives. With Brody out of the way, a sense of relief washed over me. But there was still one last piece of the puzzle to solve. Nathan and I sat at the kitchen table, exhausted but happy. "Finally, we can live in peace," Nathan said, holding my hand, "and focus on our future." I looked at him, feeling the truth of his words. "Yes, Nathan, and there's one more thing we need to do." He raised an eyebrow, curious. "What would it be?" I smiled, taking a small box from my pocket. "I wanted to ask you something," he said, opening the box to reveal a wedding ring. "Will you marry me and start this new life together?" Nathan's eyes lit up with surprise and excitement. "Surely, of course I do," he replied, putting the ring on his finger and pulling me into a tight hug. In the days that followed, we prepared our wedding and celebrated our victory against Brody. The confectionery continued to grow, now free from the threats of the past. And as we planned our future, we knew that the love and determination that brought us together would be the solid foundation to face whatever challenge life threw at us. The sun shone brightly in the blue sky, marking our wedding day. The pastry shop was decorated with fresh flowers, and a sweet aroma hung in the air, mingling with the smell of coffee. The ceremony was scheduled to take place outdoors, in a flowery garden behind the store. I found myself in the dressing room, dressed in an elegant wedding dress, looking at my reflection in the mirror. Clara and other friends were around me, adjusting details and giving me support. "You look stunning, Shirley," Clara said, tears of joy in her eyes. I felt a mixture of nervousness and excitement as I walked toward the makeshift altar. Nathan was there, waiting, with a look that conveyed pure and sincere hap. Wore a well-fitting suit and was radiant. As I approached, our gazes met and he smiled, his gaze full of love. The ceremony began, and the celebrant's words floated through the air like a soothing melody. I promised Nathan my loyalty and undying love, and he did the same. When it came time to exchange vows, every word seemed full of meaning and promise. "I love you more than words can express," Nathan said, his voice firm and full of emotion. "And I promise to be by your side every step of the way together." The words I said next were sincere and wholehearted. "Nathan, you gave me the strength to face my fears and the courage to fight for my dreams. I love you and promise to be with you at all times, good and bad." With a passionate kiss, We sealed our commitment and turned to our friends and family, who applauded and wept with joy. The day continued with a lively reception where we laughed, danced, and celebrated the new phase of our lives. The bakery was full of loved ones, and the feeling of happiness was palpable. As the evening approached and the guests began to say goodbye, Nathan and I exchanged a look full of understanding. "This is just the beginning," he said, shaking my hand. "Yes," I agreed with a smile. "And I can't wait to see what the future holds." As we prepared to begin our new life together, we felt a deep gratitude for the path we had traveled and the strength we found in each other. The confectionery, our dream come true, would be the setting for our new memories, and I knew that, together, we could face any challenge that came ahead. Let us know what you think of this story and share this story with your friends. It might brighten their day and inspire them. See you in the next exciting story.